guys, welcome back to Kuma Style Reviews. It has been a bit, at least a month or two, if I'm not mistaken. So, with me, not that you asked or anything like that, but honestly, just been enjoying my summer. Bought a new truck, been spending time with my dogs, and honestly, just outside, fishing, walking, running. People who know me in real life know that I'm a pretty active guy, and I have just been living, and it's been freaking great. And I hope everybody else here who's watching and stuff like that has been having the best summer and stuff like that possible. Yeah, just live your life, man. These hobbies and stuff like that, you get wrapped up into them, and then all of a sudden time flies by, your dogs start getting old, your kids are all of a sudden walking and talking, and you're like, man, I was too busy concentrating on the next Optimus Prime and stuff like that. So definitely don't let hobbies get the best of you, because they're supposed to be fun and a side thing or whatever, and that's definitely how I treat this stuff. So, but everybody's different. So whatever you've been doing, hopefully you've enjoyed, and good to talk to you guys again. But anyway, what we've got here is the latest from Snail. It's their Wasp girl. So the difference between this and everything else they've released, outside of being a giant bee, is it's the first new character that they've done since Wolf. They have like 5 releases or whatever, and literally all of them have been different versions of their wolf girl, who happens to look like a wolf. She has wolf ears and wolf armor and stuff like that, but that's her name, Wolf. And this is Wasp's girl, so it's nice to see a new character, even though the previous releases have all brought something new. This is refreshing, but it still falls under their kind of mecha girl motive. What we're going to do with this review, because I'm trying to do things a little bit more clear and concise, we're going to go ahead and look at the accessories. We're going to go over the figure and its articulation. Then we're going to go over each of the accessories and how they kind of work. Instead of doing 50 million poses, I'm going to leave that for the written review and gallery and stuff like that, because I'm like, if I'm sitting there posing a figure, I might as well do that when I'm taking pictures. And then since you guys are hopefully looking at the website anyway, you guys can see all those poses and actually have them to save and look at and stuff like that without having to pause a video right there on the gallery or whatever. It's just kind of wasted effort if I'm doing it here on camera and then trying to emulate the same poses later for pictures and, this and that. But anyway, that's how we're going to do it. And per Snail Shell fashion, it definitely comes with a good amount of accessories, really cool stuff, and it does have the modular interchangeable parts that can swap out with the previous wolves and stuff like that. And I don't think I'm going to do a lot of that on this review. I'll save that for the gallery as well, but just know that it can. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so taking a look at the accessories, we'll start with the back. So this is her stand. It also has spaces to hold her accessories, as well as these clear pieces here, which act as a stand for her, as well as pieces that hold up these kind of like honeycomb type parts as well. You can kind of make them fit together, or you can have them separate. There's just a lot of creativity when it comes to that. All right, still going here. This is just the end to her staff. You have to take it off in order to make her hands fit on it. She does have wings, 2 top wings and 2 bottom wings. Variety of hands, 2 faces. They do have the articulated eyes as well as this default face. Her antenna, her stinger, and then that's just a clip that holds her on the stand. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so let's take a look at the articulation on her. The head is connected to the neck by a peg that has 2 ball joints on it. So there's a ball joint up here at the head itself, and then there's another one where it meets the neck, that peg. So the neck itself doesn't move, but the head, the peg inside, kind of acts as a neck inside of a neck, if that makes sense. So still 360. She has these pieces right here that you do have to take into account when moving her head side to side. And these move up and down, which definitely lets you help change out her faces, which we'll go over in a moment. But then some side to side, again, up. I wish it had more upwards. But since the neck is static, it's hard to really get it to go back. But the downward, yeah, because the neck naturally kind of has an angle to it. In fact, we'll take it off so you can see what I mean. See how the neck kind of has that downward curve naturally? Pop that back on. Okay. Shoulders, outward. Okay. And for those wondering, yes, she can stand without the stinger or anything like that. She balances just fine on her heels. All right, and then there is Butterfly going around. And these are a soft plastic here, so don't worry about those getting in the way. She does, of course, bicep swivel. And the arms come off, so you do have to watch that peg. They hold in really well, but obviously I'm fitted in with it more than normal. Double jointed biceps, hard to see under there, but double jointed elbows, doughy. But the wrist, they do have one-way rock. And then, you know, the 360 and stuff like that. Okay. The waist, there's a ball joint here where the chest meets the abs. So that has its own 360 and stuff. And then, of course, at the waist itself. So that doesn't have a ton of side to side because it meets the hips, but it can still swivel and whatnot. Now, because of the way that this is shaped, you don't have a lot of playroom, especially when it comes to the side to side, because it's at such an angle, which is nice because she has an ass all right. But yeah, gotta take that into account. So when it comes to the back bend and ab crunch, a lot more of it's going to be done in here with the back bend. And then with the ab crunch, not a ton. And that's even with, you know, splitting it right there. Okay. Now I will show you the one area where I'm disappointed in this. So we'll first go over the forward. The back, it kind of pops out of here just because it has like this rubbery crotch plate or whatever. But I'm glad that she still at least has back kick, even though it's a little bit ugly. But one thing that really surprised me was that there's no hip swivel at all. And before we get into me bitching about that, I do want to zoom in and just show you guys the amount of detail on this figure, because goddamn, it almost makes you want to excuse why they didn't do it. But inside of here, let me see if I can brighten that up. There we go. They have like a layer of clear plastic over the detailing, which has like, I don't know if it's shaded or just a shadow, but it really highlights towards the center of the thigh. And then you see the honeycomb outlines inside. It's badass. I'm not going to lie. Darken that back up. But regardless of the detailing, which is amazing, I really wish that they would have taken the time and just given it a split here, had it peg in, so that you could have that hip swivel. Because even with her knees or whatever, they're kind of naturally pointed inwards, and it makes her, I think the term is like, is it knob-kneed or bow-legged? It's just a weird stance, and it's not natural. And then if you want to get into like more advanced posing and stuff like that, double jointed knees, it really hinders that. So it's unfortunate. Now the ankles are really good. All right, so front and back swing. And then because of the way that it pegs in, I mean, the ankle tilt is pretty much unlimited, which is awesome. And then with the back heel, you could actually put it in and out. The front of the foot does not move, but again, the back heel actually balances really well. The only thing that I have a problem with in terms of articulation is the lack of hip swivel. That's pretty fucking huge. But outside of that, it's fucking fantastic, which makes the lack of hip swivel even that much more of a disappointment. But there's the articulation. Okay, so you guys got a good glimpse at her default face. I don't like that she doesn't have just a stoic, closed mouth face. For me, that's really odd, especially since she comes off, her design is so villainous. It's weird to have such a happy Wasp girl. I don't know. But she does have this mask face. Alright, that's my dog Maya. She's saying hello to everybody. And she has one that's just eyes closed, kind of a blissful face. And then we'll get into the gimmick of the movable eyes. Now, looking at the eyes, if you turn it over, this is just like the swimsuit Wolf, if you guys watch that review. So they're crosses, it comes with this cross peg, and you just fit it in. Now, one thing I will say is, unlike the swimsuit Wolf, these were really seized up and took a lot more effort to get the eyes going at first. And this is my first time moving these ones, so even with this, you just got to find the way that it wants to move first and kind of go from there. I don't know what it is about these, but yeah. And this one is just not wanting to budge for whatever reason. I don't know if it needs to be heated up or what, but I had the same problem with the default face on my other one. Let's see if this eye is any better. And what I'm going to do is actually try the... No, I don't think the second peg would work, but, you know, I've got it put in properly. And these ones just come so super seized. Once you get loosened, they're fine. But, man. Okay, so I got it going, and what it took was me taking my actual fingernail and sticking it inside of the, like, kind of Phillips cross there, and just giving it a good tug to loosen it up. But now you can see, if you can see, it's actually starting to go pretty fine now. Let me zoom out a bit and focus. Alright, so... yeah, it's hard to do with the camera going and stuff. And even right there, this one got stuck. So, you know, just be forewarned. Alright. That they're kind of a SOB to do. But I'm going to bring in the focus a little bit more. There we go. Because I think I got it. There we go. You can move them up, down. You could even rotate them if you want to, but that's the gist of the whole eye thing. I'll get it so that she's kind of looking outward. All right, there we go. Okay, now in terms of changing out her faces, you got to make sure these two things on the side are put it downwards, and from there, the hair pops off. Let me do that. Take off the front of the face, and then change it out. Boom. Hair back on. Put those back up if you want. Boom, boom. Okay, so that's the one we just worked with. Get the camera down a little bit. Make sure we're nice and focused. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out the other face. Slide that off. Slide this off. Boom. Boom. Okay. And this is where that thigh swivel would really help, because it could give her a better plant on the floor, so I don't have to kind of hold her up while I'm doing that stuff. Alright, so there's the other face. And with these antennae, they peg in at an angle, so you just got to find the angle, peg them in. They are size specific, so the ends of the antenna actually flare out. And you just make sure that it's flaring outwards instead of inwards when you put them on. Those are the antenna. Okay, now we're going to look at her stinger. It's this piece here. Pretty big. Has some articulation right there, as well as right there. Like, it can rotate, but I think it's kind of pointless to have it rotated at the middle. Same with there. But then the stinger itself, go kind of in and out. The pegs in there. And of course, we're going to zoom out here. Obviously, it becomes back heavy at that point. So you can use it as a tripod. But outside of that, I don't really have a solid way to advise to have her standing with that. And it's not a fault of the figure. I mean, it's just naturally back heavy. It's a big piece. It's not even heavy, but, you know, I'm trying to get the ankles so that, yeah. You know, you could lean her way forward, but at the same time, that just looks goofy. But basically, you have to tripod it. Now with the wings, the bigger wings on top, they peg in. And the smaller wings, and they're not side specific, the wings, so don't worry about that. And then they can move around and overlap a bit because they can move up and down. It's neat stuff. And I do want to zoom in and just show the detailing on the wings. Absolutely superb. Okay, now we're just taking a look at the staff. Staff is die cast, but it's not nearly as heavy as the one that came with the Bikini Wolf. So she doesn't have the problems holding it and stuff like that. And it comes with these two separator pieces. One is meant to go, just pegging the staff, or the end, towards the end right there. And then the other one towards the middle, kind of like a separator between the two colors, which is really neat. But if you want to have her like hold it with both hands, depending on where you want her to hold it, you have to slide these off. And they slide off just fine. Slide off and on with no problem at all. What we're going to do with this, though, I'm looking at the height here. Yeah, we are going to have to take that off. So, boom, boom, boom. And we're going to have her hold it with her right hand. So we're using the right fist. And one thing that's way better, huge improvement over the Swimsuit Wolf, is the fact that these are closed. They have a hole in them, the hands, to hold the weapons. But they're molded together, all the fingers. Reason that's better is because with the Swimsuit Wolf, for example, with hers not being molded together, the fingers, and having more of a C grip, especially with the weapon being so heavy, the fingers would loosen, and then it wouldn't be able to grip the weapon anymore. So, just kind of crappy. Alright, so we'll do something really basic in terms of posing. I got the rest of her wings on there, her stinger, got that side face. And we're just going to remove the hands, I guess, since it wanted to come off anyway. Just make sure to pull them straight. It does come with a spare wrist peg, but it comes with one spare wrist peg. So it's better just to know how to do it, get a feel for it, do it softly, and then you could do it, you know, a little bit more harshly, firmly, whatever you want to call it. All right. Get that grounded, and that, whatever. Boom, boom. Boom. Slide that down a bit. And again, this is where that lack of thigh swivel really hurts her. Because look at that. That would be so much less awkward without that. Oh, and this decided to come plumb off. That's great. That came off of her face. And don't take this as a detriment on the figure, because it really doesn't like fall apart or anything like that. Everything holds really firm, really tight, but I'm doing a lot of fiddling with it, as you can see. Again, you'd have that. Darken this up some. Actually bring it down. Bring it out. And there we go. And that's what I'm saying, like, the lack of thigh swivel and making her so knobby-kneed. I hate it! But it's what it is. But there we go. Now, a really quick run-through of the stand. I mean, this back hole there, that's just for the main stand piece. And then there's a C-clamp right there to hold her up. Zoom out a bit. Okay. Now, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 panels, 5, 6 panels. And all of these come out. So let's see. Actually, these back ones aren't panels, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 panels. There you go. I can go from there. Okay. Oh, I guess I can just use the sides. Alright. And like this middle one, you could definitely use it as a place to store your accessories. Which is really cool. Heck, you could use it to store a couple of these too. But it goes right back on. Covers up, which is great. I hope that this is something they keep going forward. Alright? Well, if I could close it properly, that'd be fantastic. But of course I can't. Put that back up. Alright. Just that. Now inside of these panels, you'll see, and it's the same for the other sides too, you'll see multiple holes. They're the same size as those 2 holes on the back. And what they are for is these pieces. And they connect like so. Boom. Give you that. Boom. And what you do with these is take each of the honeycomb pieces and stick them. Alright? And you can arrange those however you want. Alright, and just bringing every single thing together here. So, got all the accessories put on. She's holding the staff. Got the stinger on, as well as the honeycomb pieces on the stand. It's pretty cool stuff. Very different look when you have all the accessories put together and stuff like that. It's neat. Darken that up a little bit. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. I've got a couple of them. One is just more plain without the wings, the stinger, things like that. No mask, as well as the other one who's holding the weapon, airborne, etc. You know, lots that you can do with this figure. And as a figure, the only thing that I don't like is the lack of, again, the lack of hip swivel. Outside of that, it's a very articulated figure, lots of options, good strong joints, holds the weapon a lot better than the swimsuit Wolf did. Just nothing but improvements, and it's glad to see that this company is coming along. But with things like the lack of hip swivel, I feel like Snail Shell is really still finding its way, to put it best. I think that they're getting there, but they're not quite there yet, because it's one of those deals to where for this figure, God, it would be an easy 9 to 10 out of 10, but stuff like that, that kind of oversight, you know, brings it down to like that 7.5, 8 level, just because they've done it in so many figures that they should definitely know better. But outside of that, if you're a person who can look past it, I mean, the detailing is on, the rest of the articulation's on, the accessories are fucking great. It does have the interchangeability with the other, well, I guess there's only one character, but the multiple versions of Wolf. It's pretty cool stuff, and it's definitely worth checking out. Again, this is Snail Shell, their Wasp Girl. I'm Kuma Style. Check out the full written review and gallery on kumastyle.com. And outside of that, let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.